I'm going live. Going live. Hello. Can you hear me, see me, and understand me? Don't know. Am I live? Don't know. I'm in a strange box, it would seem. Bear with. Technical difficulties. Good. I think you can see me. I have a weird thing going on that I may need to just kill the stream a second because I don't think I can change it in here. Okay. Right. Think I'm back. I think I'm back. Am I back? Still frozen? Don't know. Am I still in a box? That's what I'd like to know. It's all a bit weird, isn't it? Sorry guys. Forgive me while I'm playing around with this. No, I'm still in a box. Why am I still in a box? Hardly am I? Okay, right. What I'm going to do is sort this out if I can. So, can I change that to that while I'm on air? Okay. Has that improved things? Has it improved things? Don't know. Milk. Okay. Right. What I've had to do is switch to my my laptop camera, which is not very good, and I apologise for that. It's just the way it is. I did jury rig my phone to be a webcam, but it appears that created a load of lag because it was working over Wi-Fi. So here we are, grainy footage, but hopefully all right sound. So I'm in. We're off. We're off to the whatevers. Welcome everyone. Thank you for coming along for this impromptu live stream of just me tonight, the boring one. But as some of you know, we are in the midst of preparing to shoot a short film next week, next Monday and Tuesday, and Richard is busy collecting himself and getting ready. So I think, is my picture jumping around all over the place for you all, or are we okay? I'm not really sure. I don't know if that's what I'm seeing or if sounds are on echo. Still an echo, but you can hear. Okay. Alright, sorry about that. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. That's weird. It's coming through OBS, so don't know. Okay, let me see if I can fiddle about on here. Sorry guys, this is the usual technical shambles that you've come to know and love from me, mainly. I'm going through OBS, you see, and that could be causing problems. Audio is echoing. Why is it echoing? Right. That's weird. It is echoing as well. For God's sake. Right, technology sucks. It all sucks. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I don't know if I can... I should be able to go straight in from here. Sorry guys, I will make up for this in some way. I'm not sure why. Why this is happening. It's because I think I'm going through OBS and there's a weird thing going on there. Hang on. Bear with. Okay. Let me kill that. Has that improved my audio? I wonder. Probably not the video, but has that improved my audio? Sorry guys, that's my voice coming through here. Hang on. I don't want to listen to myself. I've killed what I think might have been the problem. Forgiveness, please, if if not. But yeah, there you go. Don't know. Hopefully it's cured your audio. Yes, good, very good. All right. Well, I apologise for the shitty image. That's the way it is. Muchos apologiosos. There you go. Right, good. Well, I'm glad I've sorted that out. Hello, and sorry. Let me go back to what I was saying. So, thank you all for jumping on and for hanging out. And I am sorry there isn't a watch party this week, but we are, as some of you know, Richard and I are preparing for a short we're doing next week. Richard is still furiously storyboarding and getting things ready, and things are really moving on. So we're very much in the midst of stuff. So yes, so that's cool. Stevie says you're on mute. Am I? Can you hear me? I'm assuming. Yeah, I don't seem to be, but that's okay. Cool. Let me know if you can't hear me. If I've gone really quiet, say something. Which you wouldn't hear me say that if I had, but hopefully not. Yeah. So yes, so we're preparing for that. At the end of this stream, which may be sooner than later if things keep going the way they're going, I will be making live a very small teaser that we have for you guys that Richard's put together. It's very small. Thank you everyone. Thanks for letting me know if you can hear me. I think Richard's got control of the Val Verde account, so there we go. But Richard's put together a teaser, a very small, very short teaser that will reveal the title of the film and give you some idea, perhaps, maybe, but not really, of what it entails. So that's going to be going live on the channel after this. So stick around for that. And yeah, so that's cool. But I thought I would just jump on and do a sort of impromptu hello and Q&A and generally hold a bit of court. Furiously storyboarding, he says. Zachary Antle sent $5. Thank you very much. Says, what's some good advice for directing actors? And also, what's your opinion of smartphone and mobile device-based filmmaking? Good advice for directing actors. I think it depends on the actor. Remember that no one director or one actor is the same. We're all people at the end of the day. We need to be sort of spoken to as such. And we need to be understood as such. And I think that, I think from an actor's perspective, I think you want a director who confidently knows what they want, because you want to know that when you do deliver it, that they'll be able to, turn around and say, yep, we got it, that's it, and you can trust them that they got it and it works and you're in safe hands. I think that's what a lot of actors mean when they talk about how they trust their directors, and they talk about trusting their directors, because I think it's really down to, do I trust them that they know really what they want? Take notes, Richard. Yeah, so it's I think that's a big thing about. So when you're directing actors, know what you want. Go in knowing what you want. That doesn't mean be ruthless and be nasty and mean if they come up with other stuff, but it just means, be really clear, be really good at communicating. Don't give them line reads, because that's really bad form. But yeah, go in knowing what you want. Second half of your question, what's your opinion of smartphone and mobile mobile filmmaking? I mean, no. But you know, do you know what? Any filmmaking is better than none. So I would suggest that smartphones can obviously shoot at 4K, and they can they now come with, I mean, like mine, which is currently precariously perched up there, but I don't need it anymore, has like 2 cameras on it, so you can get like depth of field and stuff, and most smartphones have that ability now. I'm assuming you can shoot like that as well, so it's kind of, yeah, you can definitely use them. So it's a case of, I would say, yeah, definitely, like, go for it. Like, if any way to make a film is good. So yes, YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. So my video is not good. Oh, for God's sake, there's always something, isn't there? That's such. Okay. I don't know. There's much I can do about that. If I've not got this set right, I apologise. But there you go. Yes, it should be working okay. Video bitrate. Shall we? What would make that better? Up it? I don't know what I'm doing. This is probably going to break it or something. Alright, well, I'll just try that. I don't know. If it goes tits, it goes tits. Oh, okay. No, error's not. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if it's shit video. I'm really sorry. Just maybe close your eyes. Don't look at me. Oliver Mercer sent a £10. Thank you very much, Oliver. Says, hey Duncan with an I, Dunkin' Donuts. Have you heard about the original Future War John Connor? Michael Edwards is back in a fan film called Skynet. It's arriving tonight on Blinky YouTube. I have sent it and it's solid. You've seen it, I'm assuming you mean. Michael Edwards. Who's Michael Edwards? Am I missing something? Michael Edwards. I don't know. That is. Do you mean Edward Furlong? I don't know. Put a thing in. Don't pay again, but put a thing in. No, I'd not heard of that. Oh, thanks everyone. You're all saying it's fine. Okay, good. Sorry, I'll stop worrying about shit. Yes, no, I hadn't heard about that. But I mean, fine. As I think that Richard and I, despite what a lot of people will say about us, are quite burned out on talking about Terminator. Oh, the man was. Oh, okay. So the stunt guy in Terminator 2, who plays the older John Connor in the flash forward at the top of the film, is in it. Okay, very good. Is he an actor though? I don't know, but whatever. Dude, I mean. Fine. I hadn't heard about it, but fine. What's Blinky YouTube? I don't know what that is. Is that a paid for YouTube thing? Yeah. Cool. Or is it a channel? I guess it's a channel. Dan Lyles. Hello, Dan. How you doing, mate? Duncan, has Richard set you any homework in terms of films to watch in order to prepare for your short? No, but I think Richard and I, given the type of what the short's about and everything, I think we've probably got fairly decent mutual understanding of what we're going for. So I think we'll be all right. On that front. But he's definitely. I know he's got a very clear idea in his head of how he wants it to look and what he wants to evoke in the audience. So there you go. Evening, everyone. Evening, all. What else are we saying? Let me have a look through the chat. Through the chat. Have a look through the chat. You twat. What else have we got in the chat? What are we saying? super chat. Go back. Zachary again, $5. Oh, dude. Have you tried writing and or directing something yourself? What filmmakers are you a fan of? No. I mean, I've dabbled in writing, and I'd actually write as a living now, as well. But I haven't written anything really soup to nuts yet. I'm intending to, but not yet. In terms of directing, there are some things possibly on the horizon that I'm going to sort of be de facto director for. Not fictional stuff, like not feature stuff. It's just documentaries. But it may happen. It could be in the future. It's not something I particularly pursue, but it looks like it could happen. So we'll see. I think I've got the nous to do it, and I'm fairly confident that I can do it. In fact, I am confident I can do it. But yeah, I mean, it might happen. I'm quite excited about it. I've got kind of actually never really occurred to me, but I'm up for it. I'm sort of enjoying it. Plantson, different name, sends $5. It says, "Hello Duncan. Of all cities or countries in the world, which ones stand out as places you'd most like to visit? I love my Val Verde t-shirt, by the way. Very cool. Thank you for that, and thank you for the t-shirt. Or for buying one. Of all the cities or countries in the world, which ones stand out as places you'd most like to visit? I've been quite fortunate to visit a fair number of cities in the world in my short but colourful life, and it's insofar. I'm assuming you mean ones I haven't yet visited. I'd like to properly do New York. I've not done New York yet, so that kind of stands out to me. Also, possibly San Francisco. Not been there. LA, I've not done either, but not done West Coast really. So yeah, in terms of the states, I think I wouldn't mind doing that. Where else? I don't know. It's a good question. I'd like to go to Sydney in Australia. I'd quite like to go there. I've never been to Australia. And Tokyo, actually. Tokyo. So there you go. Hope that answers your question. Thank you very much for it. Vote Saxon 07 in the house. Biggest challenges and changes of becoming a parent. Challenges are I think the biggest real thing, if you can boil it down to one thing really, which is sort of letting go of your life or your perception of your life, like letting go of the idea that it shouldn't move on in that way. I think like that's a lot of things. People see it as the death of everything, and it's like, well, no, it isn't. I mean, it isn't. That's one thing. Like, I would dispel that rumor. There are definite changes you have to make, but it's by no means like that hard. Excuse me. He says, yawning. I mean, we're very lucky in that my daughter sleeps very well, so we don't tend to get sleepless nights. Though at the beginning, that was incredibly hard. That was probably the hardest thing, was the fact that you just didn't get sleep. Like you were either we were all woken up throughout the night, or my wife and I took it in shifts. So I would go to bed at like 7 in the evening and have to get up at 2:30 in the morning to take over and stuff like that. That was hard. It wasn't too bad though. I mean, I got into a routine with it, and I just sort of started working at 2:30 in the morning, so that basically by mid-morning or lunchtime I'd kind of done all my work, and then I could kind of schlep off for the afternoon and nap if I needed to or whatever. So it's not that bad, Steve, mate. If this is what I'm getting at, don't worry about. If you're considering it, please, the benefits and the joy far outweighs the sacrifice, and what you have to let go of. It is brilliant. It is really, really fucking good. So do it if you're going to do it, or don't if you're not. Painbringer Music gives €5 and says, I'm going to play Friday the 13th on PS4 now. Good for you. I don't know what that voice is about, but it's fun. I walk around, I do silly voices. It may surprise you to learn that I walk around doing silly voices and stuff all day, and I did it today. My wife went out earlier, and I was left alone in the house, just me and the cat, and I start doing voices, and it's so silly. It's like this. I had it in my head about the kind of person who sort of seems to be in a permanent battle with their own intestinal tract, and they're usually from sort of North London or whatever, and they're sort of I can't remember what did I do. They were sort of in mid sentences. They're always like burpees. Oh no, don't talk to me about that thing. Yeah, I said to Keith, I said don't put down a thing. I said you go down to snooker all on a Saturday every night, and you don't see your wife. And anyway, that was. Anyway, I don't know why I told you about that. Enjoy playing Friday the 13th, Painbringer Music. Thank you very much for your best wishes for the short, and I shall see you soon. Bradley Roberto Watson, for that is his full name, he said, gave £5. Thank you, mate, that's very kind. Who is by far the worst director you've ever had the misfortune to put up with? The fiver is to buy me a beer when pubs open. Yes, sir, thank you very much. I'm gonna have a dram when I talk to you. By far the worst director you've ever had the misfortune to put up with. Certainly not you. If that's he's fishing for compliments, is Brad. Not you, mate. I love working with you any day of the week, and I'm not gonna make any jokes about that because it's the God's honest truth. God's honest truth. I would never name names, of course. I've worked with some very green directors. Obviously, I've done student films and that kind of thing. But I've worked with. And they weren't the worst. They weren't the worst at all. Some weren't great, but they weren't the worst. By far, probably the worst that springs to mind is a corporate I did ages ago. And bless him, it wasn't his fault, because I never blame people who've got clients in their ear holes, because I do understand how that goes. But he just kept coming back with the same note going. And it was a piece to camera. It was a monologue to camera that was full of like, our new proprietary system of blah, blah, blah. And it was all that, market spiel. And so I was doing it that way, and he kept going like, it's really great, yeah. But can you make it more conversational? Just like you're having a conversation. Okay. And I was like, no. I was like, what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. What do you mean conversation? It's not. It isn't it's not a conversation though, is it? No one asked me a question, and there's no one else in the scene. Oh right, but just relax, light conversation. I'm like, you're just saying the same word, as if that means something. If you keep saying it, I'm not going to. So I ended up having a bit of a tantrum with him, but I was just kind of like, dude, you've got to be more clear because I don't understand what you mean. Like, it's not a conversation. No one talks like that. Like, I mean, there's no one else there. Anyway, so there you go. But I lightened it up, and I guess kind of did. But he basically was just going ping-ponging between him and the client didn't know what. This is the thing with those kind of stuff. Though, is like you're often dealing with people who don't know what they're talking about, frankly. But that's not really their fault either, because they're corporate people. So there you go. So that's probably a long-winded answer to your question. It wasn't Bim Turton, no, Stephen Allen. Tim Burton was, for I'm assuming that's who you've spoonerized there. He was, I thought, really cool. I really liked. I had my brief dalliance with being given direction by Tim Burton was pretty cool, and he was on the money, man. He knew what he wanted. He was I don't know if that was an off day or what, I don't know, but he was on the ball, man. So all good. Omar sent £2. Thank you, Omar. That's really kind. Actually, Omar very kindly, very, very, very generously and very kindly sent me an Amazon voucher for my birthday, and insisted, on pain of testicle torture, that I buy whiskey. So I have ordered some. So thank you, mate. I've got that arriving tomorrow. So muchas gracias. Cheers. Much love. He says, how is Winston and Aslan? They are both well, thank you. Yeah, doing really well. Winston is his usual nutty self. I think they're both enjoying the fact that the weather is sort of improving. It's not quite there yet. As many of you know, it's still quite cold, but he is... they're both... you can tell Aslan's sort of a bit more up for it because he starts going out more and stuff. So they're really good, thank you. No more vet bills this week, thank God, or this month, so that's good. Mark Flanagan, begin again, sends $5 and says, have you worked with completely amateur actors in the style of Loach or Cassavetes? Surely directing non-actors must require a different skill set. I've worked with I've worked with people who could be put in that camp. I'm not sure they'd consider themselves amateur or non-actors, but I've definitely worked with people who don't apparently have any idea what they're doing. Um, yeah, I mean, I do. I think. Yeah, I think that must be. Do you know what? Because okay, so here's a not to go on a tirade about uh, drama schools or anything like that, but it's very true that you can't make a bad actor good by putting them through training. And I think that was told to me by someone who taught at a drama school, and I think that's true. And I think the flip side of that is that some people do have an innate talent for it and do have a sort of innate understanding, and not because of not even because they're that gifted or anything like that, but it's just a thing of like I think some people just understand it and it clicks with them, and they so you'll probably find that they're the kind of people who you can put in front of things, and with that I do think when you're running on instinct sometimes that's when your best stuff happens. Like my best stuff either happens in take 1 or 2 or like 11 or 12. So I either have to be completely fresh on the material, or I have to have exhausted it to the point that now I'm coming at it from like I'm not even thinking about it phase. I think that's when my best stuff is. So I think there's an element of like when you're working with people who've never really done it before, they don't have any preconceived notion of what's going on. And if you're smart as a filmmaker and you're on your game and you can like grab moments and stuff, then I think that's how you have to kind of do it, you know. James, hey James, James Harris, Duncan, do you have footage of your work in Emmerdale that we can see? I have an old showreel that some of the scenes are in. I don't know if I've still got the raw footage. I don't think I have. So my showreel was made by someone else a while ago, and I think that's all gone now. So I don't know that I do. I don't know that I do have footage from Emmerdale. But it's in my old showreel, which I can send you a link to. I think it's unlisted on YouTube, but I can get you that. And the EastEnders as well. He's in that. Duncan, why does nobody in film and TV say goodbye, bye, see you when they end a telephone call? Mr. HEC. Yeah, that perplexes me as well. And for the longest time, I thought that was just an American thing. You know, when they'll be on the phone and they'll be, be like, that's why I gotta do this. And like they'll just hang up, or like they never say goodbye or see you or whatever. And I've always found that was a terrible example because I didn't really think of one. But yeah, that's always perplexed me as well. Is that perhaps for the Americans in the room? Perhaps they could tell us if that is something they just do. They just hang up on each other when the conversation seems to reach an abrupt end. I don't know if it's a factor of like Americans are much more used to phoning because local calls were free, right? I think that was always the thing. I know now everyone's got cell phones or whatever, but like back in the day, like just local calls were free, so it was like, or cheap anyway, so it would just be like people always pick up the phone to each other. So I don't know if that was just a product of like they were used to talking on the phone, so they would just like put it down when they were done. I don't know. I don't know. What are you gonna do? Erica News Duncan says Sam Duxbury. Is there? Oh, that it's coming to Steam. Yes, which is very cool. Next month I think it's coming out on Steam, so PC users will be able to check it out. Zachary Antle sends another $5 reduce. Thank you, mate. Please don't feel compelled to do that. Also, thank you. I know you were in Skyfall, which is half of what made me want to pursue filmmaking back in 2012. It's a very important movie to be. Very cool. Very cool. Do you want to elaborate on that? Why was it an important film to you? Don't pay. Just just put it in there. I was. I mean, I not in any great capacity at all. I mean, I was an extra really, and certainly as in the final film, you wouldn't even know I was there. But it was cool. But dude, it was just one of those like, hey, I'm on this cool set, and I was having fun, and so that's fine. So yes, I can claim to have worked on Skyfall. Let's put it that way, and I had a thoroughly good time, and it was obviously for a James Bond fan, it was quite exciting for me. So, and it was, I mean, now it doesn't seem like so long, but it was during a fairly uncertain hiatusy period as well. I think 4 years after Quantum. So there we are. Music-related candy. Says what? Candy. Candy. Says, what did you do before acting? What jobs have you had? What jobs have you had, man? Um, I've always been of a creative bent. I used to play in bands, so I did that in my sort of early 20s once I finished university. I have a bachelor's degree in English literature and politics. I came out of uni. I did a day job, which was just working for an ISP, an Australian ISP actually called Telstra. If for those of you Australians in the in the chat, you'll know who that is. I worked for they were Telstra International, so it was different. But they were, that was my day job. But in the interim, I was out, in the evenings playing in bands and stuff. Though my second band folded, and I'd had enough of other people kind of cocking it up. So I thought, right, that's it. I started doing evening classes in London twice a week. So I'd finish work at 5:30, jump in the car, drive down to London, which was a hell of a journey at that time of day. Used to suck. Used to take about 2 hours. Get down, do my evening classes, finish up, get back. And then lots of stuff happened in acting. But I also, what I do now is not just acting. I am a writer. I'm a copywriter. I have a content development business that I've set up this year that is getting off the ground as we speak. I will post. I will let you know. I will give you the details at some point, just in case you guys are interested in checking that out, and what we do. Richard is involved as well, so that's cool. But that is kind of what I've parlayed myself into. So that is turning out to be quite a doing well. It's doing well, and I've got people on board working with me, including Richard, and we're growing, and it's really exciting. And what's really exciting about it is the fact that it's affording me lots of flexibility in terms of when I go off and do films. I can do that and still have my business going, so it's pretty cool, man. Someone sent a super chat. Sorry. Going back up the chat. Mark Flanagan, $5. Have you worked with filmmakers like Wilder or Kubrick who insist on endless takes without guidance to the actors? It works, but it must be a trial. Trying to think. I've worked with some that do endless takes, but it's mainly because they keep cocking up something, or something keeps getting cocked up, which is not their fault necessarily, but it's like but no, not really. I mean, bearing in mind that I've not worked at an end of it where I've worked on big films, but I've not worked in any grand capacity, like with people who have money to burn like that. I've worked on big budgeted projects, but nothing where you could just keep doing endless takes and people would. And I don't really think that's possible anymore. I do think obviously some people can get away with it, but I generally think 99% of filmmakers, even at the top end, can't really get away with that kind of stuff because it's like time is money and you need to get the hell on with it. So, Zachary, I'm keen not to miss you. It's the movie that taught me who Roger Deakins is. Oh, cool. Nice. And it's just overall excellent movie that helped me realise how beautifully crafted movies can be. It's true, man. It is a really lovely put together movie. I think that's what helps it overcome some of its sort of plot inconsistencies and all that. But no, I agree with you, man. And Roger Deakins, the Deeks is again, it's silly things like that. Like that was just being lensed by Roger Deakins was I felt quite proud of that, even though no one's really ever seen it. And no one probably ever will. But it was cool just having Roger Deakins point a camera at you and set up focus on me and let alone that I was in a scene with Rory Kinnear and Daniel Craig. But there you go. It was all pretty cool. Wing Kong Exchange sent £5. Thank you, mate. Has Jackson finished your wedding video yet? Yes, he has. Bless him, he did, and he did a fantastic job. And he sent it to me, and I have it, and it's all really gravy. So, yeah, man. Yes, he has. Oh no, I've inserted an ad by accident. What does that mean? I don't know. I apologise if an ad just turned up. Anyway. Ignore that. That's not what I meant to do. What did I mean to do? I don't know. Anyway, I'll stop fiddling about. What else we got? Who else is here? Have I watched Tenet? Says James Atkins. Says no. Sorry. I haven't. I keep seeing it on my Apple TV and that, so I suppose I ought to. Okay, I will. It's just one of those, like, having the time. So I will do. Is Deacons involved with June? I don't know. Richard Jackson says, "Hey, I'm good value for money." Who did you say that? Marco Maron. What did he say? Good evening. Richard should definitely stream Erica now that it's coming to Steam. But considering how Alien Isolation is doing, it would probably take at least 142 streams. Yeah, probably. I think we are going to do it. Like I've said, I don't like watching myself, but I will. I do think it's a good opportunity for us to do something. It's a unique opportunity, isn't it? So I'm happy to do it, and we'll do it. I'll be there. I'll play with myself live on air. So yeah, no, I think that would be cool. I think it would be too much of a good opportunity to kind of pass up. And if you guys are interested, I'm happy to talk about it. There's lots to talk about with that project and the making of it. So yeah, and I'm very proud of it. And it's a cool thing. And I'm super excited. I can't really talk about it, but I'm very excited about the next thing I'm going on to do, which is kind of like Erica, but it's even cooler because it's got action in it. I can't say much more than that. Colin McLean sent $10. Thank you, mate. Very kind. Similar to the Snyder Cut, what films you wish had 3 to 4 hours worth of extra footage you could watch, whether to improve the film's story or characters, or you just enjoy the film and want to see more? It's a very good question. Yeah, I don't know. There are films that get talked about like that. Like Event Horizon is one of them, isn't it? Where they always go on about, there's a half an hour of footage that they found up the devil's bum or something, and it's all about hell or whatever. And, whether or not that's true, apparently we'll never see it, so that's fine. I don't think that film would be improved by that. I don't. There are things that need improving in it, but I don't think chucking more of it at us is the way to do that. So yes, I don't know. As I've gotten older, I've kind of become more of the persuasion that I just feel like actually less is more with filmmaking, and with a lot of those kind of things, it's probably better that they didn't just chuck a ton of stuff at us. And sometimes these things are cut out for a reason. It's like Terminator 2 is that endless. I mean, not as much as Blade Runner, obviously, but it's sort of endless things put in, taken out. And it's like, I think there is a perfect cut out there that's yet to be released by any of the sort of studios or distributors, that's like minus some of the stuff that they just chucked in it. Certainly that stupid ending, and with Linda Hamilton in Old Face. I think that could do it. But I just think leave things as they are. Maybe, not in the case. Things like Justice League. Yeah, obviously that was a giant train wreck, a wet fart of a film that was, and it needed. And I do think the Snyder Cut's improved it. I suppose there are other films. There are tons of other films like that, aren't there? Like Fat Four Stick, I suppose. Who knows? I don't care though. That's the thing. I suppose I don't really give a toss whether or not they redo that, because it just wasn't. It's not something I really care about. And the movies, I suppose, then it's a sort of self-fulfilling thing, is it? Because the movies I do like and I do care about, things like The Big Lebowski that we did last week, it's just, I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't touch it at all. I wouldn't want to see deleted scenes for that or anything. I just think I wouldn't touch it. It's perfect for me. So, but that's why I like it, perhaps. So, anyway, I hope that answers. That was a really wishy-washy answer to your question. Let's have a look. Having a look through the chats. Where are we at? That's a terrible rhyme. Marco Hibbins, which is kind of I like that name. Marco Hibbins. Hi Duncan, as a youngster watching violent films when you really shouldn't have been, like we all did, were you ever compelled to reenact any classic scenes, like the tabloids newspapers say we did? No, not in the sense of I here's so okay. The thing that you're really talking about is like video nasties and all that. Every time something terrible happens in the world, people always look for a scapegoat. They always do, and violent films and video games were always the easiest thing to go to, especially when it was young men perpetrating said crimes. And which I get, but it's a lazy finger pointing exercise, really, when you even think about it even slightly. Um, those things are catharsis. That's what art generally is, and that's what those things are always meant to be. They're exploring an idea so that you don't have to do it for real, And the idea is to create emotional payoff and catharsis in people so they don't actually have to go and live it. That's the point. And so there was. I don't think. I mean, I used to run around with plastic BB guns and pretend I was Antonio Banderas in Desperado, which I wasn't. But no, I never went and like hurt anyone or did anything like that. I wasn't compelled to be violent myself. But that's just me. Maybe I don't know. Zach, you sent $5 again. Having autism and ADD makes getting involved in film hard enough, so I hope I can make it, and I'd love if you can be in something I make someday. Bless you, mate. Well, thank you. I hope so too. I mean, I think those things are. I work very closely with someone, very very closely indeed, who has Asperger's, or Asperger's, and I've learned a lot about, because he does not present as though he has any impediments or anything, anything that's sort of making him socially awkward. Occasionally he'll say or do something where you're like, whoa, like what? But generally speaking, he's so, he's functional. Like, I mean, like you are, like everyone is really, it does not say you're dysfunctional at all. But highly functional. That's part of the problem. Or no, it's not a problem. You know what I mean? But there's definitely a way. I think the film industry is one of those ones that, excuse me a second, has a face on it of compassion and a face on it of inclusion, and they do talk about that a lot. And they are. I mean, I get it, but I think they fail quite a lot sometimes to actually put that into practice when it comes to working with people who aren't, who function differently. And I think that I know why that is, because it's such a brutal, cutthroat thing to get into in the first place. Because when you're on a set, especially on a low budget set, there isn't time for most people to adjust themselves to other people's ways of communicating. So it is difficult. Like it's very difficult for a lot of people getting into the industry, and I completely. I sympathise and I understand where you're coming from. I think you can do it though. There are ways to do it, and then you mustn't feel put off or disadvantaged in any way. I think it's just a case of I would say if you can, like, get on sets some way, even if it's just like apply to be an extra for stuff and just be on sets, be on sets and see things work, and then just use your imagination. Go like, right, if I was doing, if I was directing, or I was being an AD. I mean, you might be able to get on as an AD, even as a crowd AD. Like, you'll still learn an awful lot without, I've said this to other actors as well. Like, doing extra work shouldn't be discounted. Don't put it on your CV and don't tell people you've done it, like I did with Skyfall. But I think because it puts you in the atmosphere. It just puts you in the energy of like what a set's like and what's going to be required of you should you get on one, and then you can really get a handle on it. And the good thing as well, like even when you're an extra, like you'll be on set with people, and it's like you might find that, especially if it's not a big crowd day and there's just a few of you in, you can stand around and chat to the grips and the focus pullers and whoever's around, like I've had that, like it was like Snow White and the Huntsman. I was on that for months, and by the end of it, like I knew everyone on there, like especially on the second unit and stuff. I got to know loads of people on that, and it was really cool. Nothing came of it, I don't think. I mean, well, a few things did, but it wasn't like I was really making career moves in that sense, but what I was taking from it was the kind of knowledge and awareness of what the set's like. So I think if you can do that, just find a way to be on a set in a capacity that's not risking anything, that you're not really there, like no one's looking at you, and if you cock it all up, you'll never work again. That's never true either, by the way, because short of flinging your shit at like a famous actor or something, you're not going to get cancelled or fired or whatever, and really it's about getting yourself into a position where you start to feel confident away from that, because the thing is, the pressure you put on yourself will be way worse than any actual pressure that's on you. So I think if you can get yourself, keep stretching and keep sort of pushing your boundaries in that regard, and just being on sets and seeing what it's like. And I think eventually you'll build up the confidence just through absorbing what kind of the sets are like, and just observe like what happens. Even just like the language, people saying cameras up and rolling and blah 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 and firsts and all that kind of stuff. Learn the communications, learn it all, because I think that will help if you like with ADD and stuff like that. Like I think that will help you, because you probably take it all in, and you probably like be able to understand all that information. I mean, again, I don't want to speak for you, and obviously, of course, but I think that would just help you kind of get a feel for it, so that when you then go on to do other things, or if you're making your own projects or whatever, you'll just have that confidence to know that actually those things, because now you understand the set and you understand how you can function within it, you won't have that hang up going in. So I hope that helps. And dude, like, reach out. And I'll help where I can. Sean Northridge says €5. Says, what's the strangest thing your dog, child, Richard, yourself has gotten stuck in? I just dug a tortoise out from under a radiator. Right. I won't ask. That's an interesting one. What I got stuck in? I'm trying to think now. Nothing's coming to mind. I slept in a laundry basket when I was a kid once. That's not particularly exciting, is it? Have I gotten stuck in anything? I don't think I've gotten stuck in anything, really. No. That's a really rubbish answer, isn't it? I'm trying to think. Winston hasn't got stuck in anything. Aslan hasn't got stuck in anything. Aslan does get himself stuck in stuff. That's not true. He does find his way into things, and then you'll hear like a mewing from somewhere in the house, and you have to go find him. And he's usually behind a wardrobe, or you've shut him in a wardrobe. That's usually the thing. But it's not really. That's not a very good answer, is it? I don't know. Nothing particularly funny. But that's a really great question, and I'm sorry I've completely given you a damp squib of an answer. But I'm sorry. I'll keep thinking. See if anything comes to mind. James Liddle sends $9.99. Thank you very much. He says, "Hey Duncan, are there any horror projects you'd like to do? And are there any cases that you've read up on that you'd personally like to do? For example, Skinwalker Ranch case." Don't know what that is, but that sounds pretty awful and self-explanatory. Horror projects. Let me muse. I don't know. Well, if you're still in the room, there was a horror project that Brad was attached to at one point. That I was very excited about. I was just very excited about it because he was attached to it, but I would have loved to have worked on it as well, of course, because you always do that. I mean, you always want to work with your mates, but that was a horror franchise that I won't say what it was, but it was pretty cool. It would have been really cool, and it was one I really liked, kind of growing up, and and they made 3 films. The last one was a bit shit, and we had a real opportunity to kind of bring it back, and they have done it now. And because one of my mates is in it, and I've no idea what it's like, but there you go. I won't say what it was. And Brad might, if Brad's still around and he doesn't care, then he might stick it in the chat for you. But otherwise, I shall keep quiet on that. So that would have been really cool, which is not a very good answer to your question because it doesn't really answer the question. Any cases that you've read about? Any horrible things? There was, local to us, there's the Joanna Dennehy case in which a young lady, I don't know if my audio is coming through right. I'm fiddling again. In which a young lady literally just drove around the country. I think she drove over to the west coast, just killing people, stabbing people to death randomly. And that's a pretty horrific case. And it's really, in recent memory, in living memory, it's the only real case we've had of a serial killer, because it's very, very rare for serial killers for there to be cases of serial killers. Most of the time, it's people who know each other. So that was scary, and something that would be perhaps quite interesting to do a film. Also, there was the Myra Hindley and not Myra Hindley. The she's the Moors murderer, isn't she? What was the guys in Streatham who killed the kids? Although that's pretty dark. Anyway, but I don't know. Maybe the Joanna Dennehy thing, because that's pretty messed up. And she was from around where I live actually, which is great. What else? What else? What else? Who else is saying a what and a who now? What in a who now? James Atkins, did anyone do that Google Drive of the old commentaries that was mentioned on a watch party a while ago? That's for Patreons. If you're a Patreon, James, reach out on Patreon. I think it's $3 and up. Reach out and I will get you the link if you don't have it. It should have been sent to you when you signed up if you are on there. And I will get it to you and you can listen to it. Obviously, there's not been any in a while because of lockdown, but they are there. They are yours if indeed you are eligible for them. What else? Who else is saying what? Get your questions here. Get them here. Jason Badass, which is a good name, but probably a given one. Hey Duncan, what sort of whiskey do you like? I like Scotch. I'm moving. I don't. I'm quite an open church when it comes to Scotch. I don't mind a bit of peat. I don't mind a bit of smokiness. I like fruity whiskies as well. I like them all. In fact, the one Omar that Omar has very kindly contributed to for my birthday, I've ordered has a Sauternes finish, which I'm quite excited by. It's which is so whiskey wanking of the highest degree, but it's finished off I think in Sauternes casks. And for those of you, Sauternes is Sauterne is a pudding wine in France, from a region in France. And which is kind of interesting. I like that about whiskey because it can take on so many different things. It's the sort of the thing of the spirit world, because really that's what whiskey starts off as a grain, a malt liquor, but it's clear. I mean, it's essentially like vodka, really, and then the flavour and the colour comes from, or should come from, the wood casks in which it is matured. Often, sometimes people can get away with putting colouring in, and I think caramel and stuff, but they don't. I don't think I think that's only with blended whiskies. I like a single malt Scotch. I'm currently drinking a 12-year-old Highland Park, which was given to me by my aunt and uncle for my birthday, and I have a nice bottle of 15-year-old Glenfiddich downstairs as well. So there you go. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's kind of what I'm into. Oh, I am moving up there. I'm going to get some Macallan as well, and I'm quite up for. I might splurge on a bottle of 18-year-old Glenfiddich. But it can get really out of hand, man. You can spend a lot of money, but it's good. Steve Allen, hey Duncan, hello. I'm not saying you sound like that at all. Do you ever think you could do a musical? If so, do you think you could do Patrick Bateman in the American Psycho stage musical? I didn't know there was one. I've done musicals. I've done them, and a long time ago. I did a funny thing happened on the way to the forum, but I don't know. I don't know if I don't really have it in me to do it. I had an agent who used to send me up for musicals because she knew I could play. I played guitar and I sang. I played drums, but I just knew, like, I was in the room. I did a handful of them, and I just turned around and said, "Look, I don't think this is right for me." I said, like, you look at the guys who come in, and they are dedicated, musical theatre types, and I'm just not that. I am an actor, and I do play music, but it's different. It's just different. So I sort of knocked that on the head. I'm not saying that I would or wouldn't do it, but there you go. Sam Montgomery says, wait, the files for the old commentaries on Patreon. Yes, as far as they are, but as in Val Verde ones, not obviously prior to Val Verde. But yeah, they're all on there as MP3s. So shoot me. Again, if you're, Sam, I can't remember if you're on Patreon, but if you are, bung us a message and I'll get you the link sorted. You should have it. So they're there, but not. I mean, I'm inferring from the way you phrased that you mean old stuff with Oliver, which is not on our. We don't have that. Um, Someone says that's why they think. What Steve says I could work as Patrick Bateman. Do you? I don't know. Chewbacca's neighbor. If you could have dinner with any actor, who would you pick? Technically, technically, I have had dinner with Kevin. No, I've had lunch with Kevin Costner, and I've had dinner with Mark Strong. But that doesn't mean I sort of had dinner with them. I ate at the catering on a catering like next to them or like on the same table as them. Um, it's separately, obviously, but yeah, which is like really is a really shit. I was more amazed by the fact that Vic Armstrong was sat opposite me. That's who I was kind of focused on when because I sat next to Kevin Costner. Thing. Anyway, who I didn't really even notice, which is ridiculous. But yeah, but Mark Strong I had dinner with on a dining bus, and he was funny. He was right. He was good. He was a good laugh. Duncan, would you play Frankenfurter if you were given a chance? Says Floyd Dillon. Probably not. Well, probably. I don't. Hey, look, who knows? I don't think I'm right for that though. I think that's one of those like you just see Tim Curry when you think of that. I can't. That's one of those ones where I'm just like I don't think I could. I don't think I could do it. And I don't think I'd be right for it. I don't think I have the sort of the energy for something like that. But you never know. Hey, never say never. Kyber Ranger. Kyber Ranger. I actually quite like that name. Sent $5 Australian. Or yeah, I guess Australian dollars. Says Duncan, Udabomb and Erica. Yo, cheers, man, or lady, or anything else you care to. You know what I mean. Thank you very much. That's really kind. That's really really kind. Yeah, I made the mistake of reading the reviews of Erica because even though I knew not to, I did better than that. And some of them were very nice about me, and some weren't, and I was kind of like for a while, which was stupid. And then I realised that you should never read reviews about yourself because most of them are it's pointless. Groovestar says I played Erica today and really enjoyed it. Good game. Thank you very much. Cheers, Groovestar. That's awesome, man. Or lady, sorry, man, me, general term. Watch party suggestions. Denzel Washington week. What's your favourite Denzel Washington movie? Says Colin McLean. Yeah, good idea. Obviously it goes to Patreon for the vote, but yeah. My favourite Denzel Washington movie. Good question. The thing with Denzel Washington is he could be in anything. So like something like was it Deja Vu? Is it called Deja Vu? What's that? It's the one where he can see back in time by like a day or whatever. What is that called? Anyway, someone will say in the chat. That is a ridiculous premise, and he sells the shit out of it. And that's the power of Denzel, right? So it's like he could be in anything, and it's like it's awesome. So it's really hard to pick like my perfect or my favorite Denzel Washington movie, but yeah, I have to think about that. In terms of his performances, I just like it, dude. I mean, like the remake of Pelham 123, I didn't think it was Tony Scott, and it had that sensibility, and it was okay, but it was him, wasn't it? And it was Travolta, and it was just like that was what was and Gandolfini, and it was like, but it's all hanging on Denzel, man. The dude can make you laugh, cry, and everything in a movie. Like he is just fucking amazing. So that's a really really difficult one. Training Day is often referred to. I think he's good in that. It's an alright film. I think it gets a bit overblown, but it's alright. Training Day's alright. Yeah, I mean Philadelphia. He's the man. It's freaking amazing. What's the time? 1:30. Yeah. So because of all my technical cock-ups, I shall go to 10, if that's all right with you guys. I don't want to bore you either. I don't want to stay my welcome. But I'm having fun, and I hope you guys are too. And again, sorry we're not watching a movie and talking about it and saying Bum and Willie. But there we are. I ought to check PayPal. I'm not that I not that I'm arrogant enough to think that people would send PayPal money, but I ought to do it just on the off chance because I don't want to get caught napping. Or indeed crapping. Legit Grantham 20 says, "Hey Duncan, who is your favourite Bond actor and why?" I will answer that as I look in. It's very hard when it's just you and you have to like multitask. But hey, that's what I'm a parent now, so I have to get over that shit. Favourite Bond actor? I mean, I like them all for a lot of reasons. I grew up. Pierce was, my Bond actor. Like, he was the incumbent Bond in my formative years. So I guess I'd have to go with Pierce. There he was. Great Bond, great movies. Tomorrow Never Dies. Harry Thatcher. But so I've got to put code in and everything. God damn it. Yeah, probably Pierce Brosnan, but like only because he was the man of my time. That was that. I mean, in terms of, I obviously think Daniel Craig is fantastic. I really enjoy watching his James Bond. I think he really nails it. Like, he's up there too. Like, him and Pierce are probably on the same sort of level anyway. Oh, Andrew Caput sent £10. Thank you, mate. That's so kind of you. Bless him. Stalwart of our PayPal. PayPal. Dalton's great, man. Like, I'm really getting back into Dalton stuff. I mean, I do. My reservations about Dalton are still the same, but they're not his fault and they're not the film's fault. They just are what they are. I like License to Kill a bit more now than I used to. I like the Living Daylights is fantastic as well. A lot of love for those movies in general, and I think Timothy Dalton. I like Timothy Dalton because he's just very different and he kind of stands out. I know people say he's very much like Daniel Craig, but actually they're not in quite the same way. So yeah, and then Roger Moore. Roger Moore's just fun. I mean, I wish these sort of Roger Moore's Bond films was more like sort of episodic, or episodes in the series, really. Because it kind of was the Saint as James Bond. So there's that, and then I kind of got a kick out of watching Majesties again, obviously because I've only seen it very few times, and I watched it properly all the way through, and actually, I don't think Lazenby was great in some ways, but I actually thought as a sort of young playboy type Bond, I didn't like the way he was written in parts of it, but I actually thought it was quite interesting. It was just quite I enjoyed watching it, and I enjoyed watching him. And then Connery's Connery. What can you say about Connery? The dude's the dude, right? Dude, I like your style, dude. Josilla. The full answer is it because it just means I like them all. They're already good. I guess Pierce Brosnan I have a soft spot for, as does anyone who grew up with whoever was James Bond at the time. So Pierce Brosnan and Daniel Craig, I guess, were kind of teens into 20s. That's kind of the sweet spot, isn't it? And I actually sort of met Daniel Craig as well, which is kind of cool. Josilla, $5 dollars. Says, how do you feel about the Hudsucker Proxy? Good film. Yeah, I like that film. I've only seen it once and a long time ago, but I thought it was really good. Weird, but really good. I mean, Coen Brothers, isn't it? Coen Brothers and Deeks. So Deeks, he's my mate now because he once shot me and wouldn't remember me if I fell on him. But there you go. Let's see. Let me have a quick snifter. Steve Allen, Ridley and Tony Scott, in your opinion, who had the better filmography? Oh, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. And one I'm probably not gonna. I mean, Tony Scott was. I think he made more kind of fun, watchable stuff. I think Ridley probably has the best filmography from a technical standpoint. But Tony Scott had some massive hits, so it's kind of like, and I think I actually probably, generally speaking, would probably chuck on a Tony Scott film if I just want to sit down and be entertained, before I would necessarily a Ridley Scott. What else? Who else is saying what in the who now? Come on. Get it in. Oh yeah. I'm going back to YouTube because it's easier to watch the chat. I think in there. I think. Is it or is it? Is it easy? I thought. Did we just get a super chat? I missed it. I'm not sure if I'm. Oh, Zach. Okay, right. Okay, so all right. If I look at it here, then I'll get a bit more of an up-to-date chat. Okay, apologies, guys. Zachary again sending us $2, dude. Stop! Don't worry about sending us money. Please just put your thing in. It says, how would you rank the Bonds by acting skill? It's very interesting. God, I don't really feel like I ought to. Well, I think Sean Connery, if when you look at his acting career as a whole now, I would say had the most screen presence. I think he was able to command the screen in a way that no one else was, or has been able to yet. So I definitely probably have to put back. We can kind of both him and Roger Moore now. We can look back on their whole career in its entirety and indeed their lives. Whereas the others you sort of can't yet because they haven't really, with the exception of Lazenby, who I don't really think is an actor. But so Connery would have to be at the top, I think, for now. Then probably Craig. I think Craig has, in terms of playing James Bond anyway, I think he's really got a nice, I think he's nuanced with it. He's had the best material though, that's the thing, he really has had the best material to get his teeth into. Or some of the best material. I think actually that's not entirely true. I think it's some of the best material. I think Pierce was great, obviously. When Pierce was given the chance to stretch his legs, I think he was really good. I just think there were some things where he was asked to just do stuff that was a bit stupid, but he could stretch his legs. Dalton was great. Moore was great too. Moore is actually a really good actor, but so it's hard to say. I would put Connery at the top and then the rest. I don't know. It's not really. I don't think I can rank them. It's really difficult. Trying to get to a question. Who would you like to? Fremantle 85 says, who would you like to direct Bond 26? I think I'd like to see Martin Campbell. This is a really lazy choice, but Martin Campbell to do one last one because it probably would be his last one. And because in theory it's ushering in a new actor to play James Bond, I think if he did the hat trick of introducing 3 Bonds, I think that he could be very proud of that. And he's awesome. He's just awesome at that. And his track record is superb, obviously with GoldenEye and Casino. So that's my answer. It's a lazy one, but I'm going with it. Kukaiba Ranger again. Thank you very much. 50 Australian dollars. Is it Australian dollars? Forgive me if I'm getting that wrong. It says after 80 series like Terminator, Star Wars, Robocop, with belated sequels and reboots, 90s kids are hitting that mark now. Anything to learn from the previous decade? Don't do it. Steer clear, or something else to do it right. Yeah, they are. I mean, I'm finding that people are now sort of trying to make the 90s a thing, and I'm finding that a bit hard to swallow. I'm a bit like, really though? Okay. Alright. I mean, people have had a big hard-on for the 80s for a long time now, and I think it's because the kids who grew up then are now in positions of influence in the arts and media. I don't really fall into that bracket. I don't think Richard and I really fall into that bracket. We're much more 90s kids because by the time I was 6 by the time the 80s were over, so I don't think I have much to say about the 80s. I don't really remember it as a decade. Obviously decades bleed into one another. I mean, I don't think that's, I think it was like midnight, January the 1st, 1990. It wasn't like everyone just went and threw away their drainpipe jeans and whatever. So they're dealy boppers and shit. So I don't think you can really claim that. But I'm a 90s kid really, and probably a late 90s kid when I think about what kind of influenced me and what stuff. So I don't know. I think the thing is we need to get better at kind of being innovative with our art again. It's hard because a lot of the stories have been told, but there are new ways to tell them. We just have to be more willing to take risk. I think the problem is nowadays, especially with filmmaking, is that there's so much money has to be pumped into them. I think needlessly, but so much money does get pumped into them, and it's like very hard. People find it very hard to take a punt on a $30 million idea. I think that's a shame, because actually that's where the next thing's going to come from. Unfortunately, they just want to keep throwing hundreds of millions of dollars at old ideas and retooling them and churning out shite like deepfake, dark fate, whatever. Shit, wasn't it? It was awful. I mean, let's just not be about the bush. It was not good, and I could wax lyrical about that, but I won't. But there are, demonstrably it was not good, and it's not because anyone's fault involved with the making of the film. It's just because you were trying to flog a dead horse, mate. But leave it. I mean, I get why you would want to do it, but don't do it. So Rob Myers, hey Rob. Rob, I need to email you and I need to send you a copy of the script for Rob may not remember this, but Rob did offer to help us out with some of the SFX on our short film. So I am going to send you the script, which I will try and remember to do when I get off the stream. So you can have a read of that, and then we'll get you a shot list as well, so you can kind of see what's going on. And you can tell us to fuck off if you want. This is fair enough. There's no obligation. Steve Allen, do you think we need more investors and producers with gambling problems to place their bets on weird ensemble dark horse films, kind of like Jason Blum? Probably. I mean, no. I mean, not in a sort of Golden Globus kind of way. Like, I don't want people sinking studios on stupid ideas. That's not what I want. I want people clued up, but I want people who know a good project when they see it, and are willing to risk that kind of money on it. If you've got a portfolio, I mean, I actually had a message recently. I mean, I am still part of a film fund, although it's kind of dormant at the moment. But the company's registered, but we're setting it up in the US, and I'm not really sure what's going to happen. I am sure. I do know what's going to happen in the short term. But anyway, that's not to say I have a shot at doing that stuff yet. But if someone had, I think if someone had a portfolio, put it this way. So we at one point it was looking like we might have had £5-6 million pounds or dollars to play with, and Annalise, you can't stick around, but swing and say hi. Hi, Annalise. Good to see you. Thanks for swinging in or sticking around or whatever it is. Swinging by. Yeah, I think so. So at one point, we had a sort of £5-6 million, I think, pound pot potentially. And always the sensible thing is to diversify, right? Is to take small, punts with smaller parts of the pot and never bet more than 10% on any one thing. I think if someone had what I would like to see is someone with a sort of $100 million or $300 million, say, take a punt on $10-30 million movies, because one of those will pay off in a big way. And I don't mean just scattergun the first, first 10 projects that land on their desk, but I mean like go out, do the due diligence, speak to the people, like get it all sewn up, find a model that works as well. That's another thing is that is sorely lacking, is finding a model that really works. We actually set up a model to help fund what would it be? What was it called? Like kind of film development fund, and that's still something I really want to explore because I do think it's something that's sorely lacking. Finding a way to make it work that you can invest in someone's development of a film, not even the film itself. Anyway, that's another story. But I think that more attention needs to be paid to that end of the industry. And I think if the people who do it and do it right will do really well from it. The problem is it's sort of occupied at the moment by a lot of churn, a lot of aggregators, and a lot of fluff. And actually, and it's fine because they're serving a market. But actually, there's I think that's where you could find the next big thing. But it's a case of we live in a world now flooded with content, and something like The Terminator, if they made it now, would just get lost in the ether potentially if it didn't have the right push behind it and stuff. So, there's innovative stuff going on streaming platforms, and I suppose that, but the trouble is when something comes out on there, it feels a bit cheap, doesn't it? Because you've kind of already paid your $5 or whatever, and you watch it and then you bin it off. There was a film I was remembering recently. They made a film, I think it came out a year or two ago, with Ben Affleck. It was a sort of ensemble cast about sort of mercenaries, some guys in the US who went off on a mission and blah blah blah, and some of them died, some of them came back, and it was an alright film. It was quite a good film. I forget what it's called. Someone will say it in the chat. But it came out on Netflix, and it's just sort of, came and went. No one's talking about it, And I think that there's much more of a throwaway culture now when it comes to that kind of thing. Zachary Antle again sends us $5. Says, IDM. What does that mean? I guess I'm spending money on this. I've got cash to burn. Very good. Good for you. Spend some on a film then. Spend some on making a film, I mean. You know what I mean. What's a way I could get in touch with you? Or did I mishear you say that? Shoot us an email at valverdebroadcasting@gmail.com. And I should pick it up. I need to get back in that account actually, but not as in I know I can get in it, but you know what I mean. I need to check it because I haven't checked in a while. But yeah, shoot us an email, valverdebroadcasting, all one word, @gmail.com. And that goes for anyone. Please do get in touch. We're always happy to, when we can, we'll get back to you. I am insanely busy, obviously, with home life and work life, but I usually find the time, so I'd be happy to get back to you. So yeah, shoot us an email. 10 minutes, I think, guys, and then we'll wrap this up because you don't want to hear from me all bloody night. But yeah, yes, mate. No, mate. Whatever. What was I saying? I can't remember. Worms T17, hello mate, says, you ever watch the works of handmade films work? Brackets, Life of Brian, Time Bandits, and Withnail and I. Yes, well, I've seen Life of Brian, and I've seen Withnail and I. So, yes, is the answer to that question. I didn't realise it was handmade films who made those, but yes, yeah, very good. See, we need more of that. The thing is, with films like that, is again, they sort of like, well, not Life of Brian, but with stuff like Withnail and I mean, it found an audience when it came out, but it obviously then achieved this kind of cult-like status afterwards. And I don't think there's the scope for stuff to do that anymore, really, sadly, because the distribution mechanisms are such that you just get it instantly, and you watch it and you go, pfft, and you don't pay for it. I mean, that's something that I think people forget. It's like people really expect now to get films for free, or get it as part of a subscription service, but don't pay for it as a unit. And that's fine. I do understand that's where the market's gone, and I do think some people got really greedy off the old model. But there is something lost. I think you do lose something. I think there's that thing about robbing yourself of the exchange, and sometimes what people miss is that when you have to pay for something, when you have to give up something to receive something else, you engage with it that much more, and you get that much more out of it. And I think we're very entitled now as a society when it comes to movies and that, and it's really really hard to kind of see how we'll change that around. But I believe it will work. I believe there's an appetite for it. Excuse me. And I'm sure we'll figure it out. But it's a curious one. Steve Allen, Duncan, how accurate is Withnail and I as an actor? Well, I demand to have some booze, so I'm going to have some. No, it's not really. I mean, I guess it's stereotypically. The thing with acting and thing with actors is that there's always something to prove the rule or the exception, or like people are like, oh, well, that's how so and so got started, or that's how what I get that all the time, from well-meaning people, but I do struggle to hear it for the umpteenth time when someone says, well, how Tom Cruise got his start, implying that A, I should be doing that, and B, that it's even possible. And it's like, yeah, but it's like, I mean, I get it. I get kind of what they mean is that that was his attitude and that's what got him in. But it got him in a very specific door, at a very specific time that just doesn't exist anymore. It just isn't there. That's not. So really, the take home is always find your way. Find your way. Don't try and find someone else's way. And I think that's true of anything, actually. Don't model. If you're trying to do what someone else did, then you're trying to force something into your life that you're trying to force yourself into a mold that you're not right for. It's much better to find something that is in alignment with who you are and how you operate at your best, at your peak, when you're in a state of flow, for lack of a better, that's a bit of a woo-woo term, but you know what I mean. Like when you are on it, you wanna achieve success in that way. And so you have to shut out all the shit that people talk about. And it's like, so and so this and so that, because actually it doesn't help. Floyd Dillon, Duncan, what do you think to Netflix paying $468 million for 2 Knives Out sequels? I think that's a bit premature. But I know they want content, and I know Netflix are sort of struggling because they used to be the peddlers of other people's work, completely rightfully. Like, I'm not saying that was a bad thing. And they lost a lot of franchises. Well, they lost a lot of contracts because everyone set up their own streaming services and sold it off. So they lost all the Disney stuff. They lost all the Marvel stuff. I'm not sure what happened with their Daredevil series. I'm assuming they still have that kind of stuff. But so they're desperate for original content. So I guess that it makes sense. Like, it's fine. I don't mind. Like, whatever. I liked Knives Out. I think it was great. I think it was the sort of earth-shattering blow to the film noir genre, I guess it plays in, or not film noir, but like detective genre. I don't think it was. I thought it was just a fun movie with a good cast. It was a good laugh. But there you go. Cucumber Ranger again sends 20. So sends 2 super chats. Thank you very much. For first one, $20. With all the Bond talk, do you find it funny that the problem Daniel Craig was brought in with Casino as a hard reboot, such to fix is what he is causing now? Looking to recast with a fresh face? Question mark. Not sure I understand the question. Do you think it's funny the problem, Daniel? You mean the problem he was brought in to fix is now the problem with the franchise? I think that's what you mean. It's always been the way. It's always been the way in lots of ways. The sort of pendulum swing with that series, and it's a unique thing because it's the longest running film series in the world. So it's hard to say that it's unique in that regard because there really isn't anything else that you can look at. But I think I don't think he's the problem. That's what you mean. I think he's the problem. Oh, you sent. Oh, sorry. You sent the earlier one about the 70s, 80s. Gotcha. But thank you again. Why not? I don't know. I've been asked. I get asked this a lot about James Bond. Some people. So it's usually the go-to thing for any kind of actor of a certain age in the UK. They say, "Oh, you're the next James Bond." This sort of an Alan Partridge kind of. And I don't think they really mean it. I think it's just the thing you say. That's just what everyone refers to. And then they ask who do you think should play James Bond and all this sort of stuff. And I think the trouble is, I don't think this is going to be an incredibly hard thing to follow because the super continuity of it all. Daniel Craig's amazing. I don't know. I just don't know, and that is a headache for Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson. I don't know what they'll do with it. I have faith that they'll do something brilliant. But I don't know, I'm not sure I or any other actor with a head on his shoulders would jump at the chance. Not because it's not a great opportunity, but it's it has so much potential to fall on its ass. So who knows? Eh, what have we got? What have we got? Just letting you know, mostly a lurker, Duncan. You're the boss, Duncan. I am the boss of a company I set up recently. Yeah. Oh, not really. You have more prestige than any Bond could need. Oh, you're very kind, Robo Ted. Given name. Much love to you. Thank you. That's very sweet. Thank you very much. I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, thank you. But that's a wonderful compliment. Thank you, Logan W. Duncan. If you had an alternative dream other than acting, which avenue career would you choose? Maybe it's been asked already. I arrived late. Well, as I said, I used to play in bands. I love music, and I still love music, and I miss playing music. I'm not sure. I was never the most talented guy in the room when it came to music. I'm not the most technical, and I'm not the best musician. But I think I was always pretty good at putting people together and understanding the sound I wanted and the vibe I wanted from music and stuff. And I would love to still play music. I think, and that's something that I feel that maybe one day I can do. You know, in whatever capacity. I think actually for me, acting, I'm very specific about the type of actor I want to be and the type of career I want to have as an actor. As a musician, I'm much more easygoing, and I think I would like to one day pick it up in my spare time and have fun with it and just let it be what it be. It's one of those. The great thing is you put some songs out, people like it, they like it, they don't like it, that's fine. Nowadays, I think that's much more what the internet lends itself to now. Is I would love to just make music and chuck it out on Spotify and people like it, that's great. And if enough people like it, they want to see me play it live, then I put a band together and we play live. You know, that's cool. That's for me. That's, you know, I would love to do that. But yeah, you know, I'd love to have been a sort of rock star musician. I guess that would have been cool. But you know, otherwise, I'm very, you know, I keep. I don't. I think I could have gone into journalism. You know, I'm very. I like writing. You know, a degree in English literature. I could have been potentially a political journalist. Not sure. Not sure I would have really wanted to have done that, but especially given the state of politics nowadays, or the state of around politics. But I have very, you know, I am very political, but I never speak about it. I don't speak about it publicly. Yeah, so maybe that, but I don't think he wants to do that. Caspiness sent £5. Thank you, mate. Very kind. You should speedrun Alien Isolation on a secret live stream, then only tell Richard later. Maybe I will. Although, I'd be awful, and I have it actually. I do have it, but I think I put it on for like 5 minutes ages ago. I was bought it as a present, and I put it on, and I kind of went, I'm bored now, because my attention span for computer games is pretty lacking. So I just went, forget it. But maybe I should. Maybe I should do that. I tried, well, because Richard and I did. Is it Nostromo? Whatever it is, DLC, I don't know, and I thought I was just hiding in lockers the whole time. I was like, hide in lockers, the game. It's like hide and seek, the game. And it had all the aspects. I remember getting Doom 3 and being really excited to play it years and years ago, whenever that came out, when I was like, I guess 20 or something. And I put it on and it scared the shit out of me, and I couldn't play it anymore. And it was Alien Isolation, was kind of like that, but you have to hide in a locker and you don't have a big gun. I'm like, well, I mean, look, if you're into it, great. It just wasn't for me. I honestly, I'm just not a gamer anymore. I think I've come to realising I'm just not a computer gamer anymore. I don't have room for it in my life, unfortunately. You know, I love a bit of GTA. I love a bit of that, but you know, that's boring, isn't it? There you go. Well, I will give it another couple of minutes just in case there's anyone who wants to get anything in under the wire. Otherwise, I will soon bid you all farewell and good night or good morning or whatever, good day wherever you are in the world. But this has been fun. I really enjoyed this, and thank you very much, everyone, for chiming in. You are Rob actually sent me a really lovely email a little while ago, and one of the things he said was that he just really likes our community, and Richard and I have spoken about this as well. It's like that's one of the things we love about it, is that you guys are really, really just cool cats. You're all really nice. You're all really, you can throw a barbed comment or two in the chat every now and again, but it's like nothing's done with malice. Everything is kind of done with a sense of respect and love generally for what we talk about, and so thank you all for that, because I think that's rare. That's super rare, especially in what we talk about. And as this channel grows, hey, we'll probably attract some dickheads. That's just normal, but you guys are the real deal and the core of everything. So thank you, thank you very much. Floyd Dillon, so no teaser trailer then? No. Like I said, when I sign off, you will get the teaser trailer. Don't you worry. It will go live on the channel. It's not going live on the stream. It's going live as its own thing on the channel, so it will be there for you all to see. So chill out, Charlie. Sam Montgomery, is there any films coming out that you would want to see on the big screen regardless of COVID? For me, it's June. Well, for me, it's No Time to Die. No surprise there. But yeah, June. I think any film, all films, I want to see on the big screen. I don't really want to view them for the first time at home. I would want to see them in the cinema. So there you go. Duncan, what's your final take on the worst of the Star Wars sequels? Rob, cheers. Hey, mate. Final take. Did you work on them? So I feel a bit bad saying bad things about them. Dude, I have watched them all now. What's my take on the worst of the Star Wars sequels? I mean, well, the last one was so fucking weird, man. I sat and watched it, and I'm sorry if you made it. I think it looked great, so let's just leave it. Let's put it. The special effects were obviously on point, but the story and the characters were all a bit like, huh? It was all a bit like, find the thing, go to the next thing. It was sort of just. It was so procedural, which is not what you want in a Star Wars film, is it? You don't want that. And I think that's so emblematic of where we're at with storytelling these days. It's like, it's just depictions. It's not... There's no growth. There's no expansion to any of it. It's just depicting a thing. People seem so preoccupied with simple depictions of stuff. It's like, well, that's not enough. It's not enough to simply depict A to B. That's not your job. Your job is actually to tell an underlying story. The point of Star Wars is hero's journey. We've done this a million times. It's like there's subtext. Quite honestly, with Star Wars, with the first one, it's quite wishy-washy. But with the second one, the third one, there's real subtext. It's in the visual storytelling. It's in the writing. It's in everything. So, that's lacking. I mean, it's lacking in the new ones, and so I guess that's... Sorry, I just got a message. I'm getting confused. Yeah, that's my take on them. Does that make sense? I just don't think there's much salvageable. I think the problem is the well is dry. The well is just dry with that franchise. And I think the problem is the well is dry in terms of the main, what is it, the Skywalker saga or whatever. It's just dry. It was dry ages ago. I think that the really interesting stuff is like The Mandalorian and Rogue One and that kind of stuff. So that's my take on that. They're all strangled by committee now. There you go. Well, Rob, I assume, is in the room with Kathleen Kennedy when it's all going on, because you may as well be compared with what the rest of us are at. So there you go. I think, guys, I'm gonna have to leave it on that note. It's been a real pleasure, and it's been an honour and a privilege, and thank you very much indeed for sticking around and listening to me waffle on. I've barely had any of my drink because I've just been talking so much. But I guess that's the idea. And wish us well. Wish us a broken leg or whatever as we go into next week, because we're probably going to need it. Richard and I are going to be pulling some long days, but it's going to be good. and we're excited. We will be sharing our journey with that, and we're going to be posting on social media. So look out for that on our. We're setting up a dedicated Instagram account for the film, but we'll also be sharing stuff with the Val Verde broadcasting accounts. So look out for it across social media. All of those will end up in the description for the teaser that we're about to drop. I don't think they're in there now, but we will make sure that's all included. But for now, look out for it. Wish us well. We love you. Thank you very much indeed for stopping by. And we'll do this again soon because this was fun. So take care, everyone. And trailers coming up. Teaser trailers coming up. Yes, great trailer, great movie. Cheers, guys. Bye now.